1975, a baby mammoth was found frozen. Part of it dated 40,000 years old, another part was 26,000 years old, and the wood next to it is 9,000 years old. Still not working in 1975.
Look at the source of it. And I'm actually going to give another reference that you gave because it goes directly to that. And that source would be the Quantitary Stratigraphic Nomenclature in Unglaciated Alaska, which is Geological Survey Professional Paper 862. And you like to use this paper quite a bit.
I've used it 4 or 5 times. I have 7,000 slides. I don't know if quite a bit's good. I've got the paper here. I've got the paper in my library. It might take me a minute to find it, but
okay, good, because I've got the paper right in front of me right now.
Okay,
no, I've got all your sources right in front of me right now.
Okay.
And so that's what I would actually like to go over, because in your seminar debate, again, number 7, in your seminar tape number 7, you say that baby Dima was dated at 4,000, or I'm sorry, at 40,000 to 20,000, and at 9 to 10,000 years old, and you say that that source is found in the Geological Survey Professional Paper 862, which was printed in 1975.
Correct.
The most interesting thing about this is baby Dima was not found until 1977, and it was not found in Alaska. It was found in Siberia. So why do you say that the Geological Survey Professional Paper number 862, which is talking about Alaska, says they found baby Dima when baby Dima wasn't found until 2 years later on another continent?
Well, let me look at my reference here and see. I have baby Dima.
And of course, it is possible that, I mean, sometimes references can be wrong. And
or the reference can be reprinted later.
Exactly, Ken. Why are you researching these references and finding out if they are correct before you put them on your seminar tape?
First of all, let me say, if there's a mistake in my seminar and you're pointing it out, I appreciate it, okay? I am definitely wanting to be accurate. I would like the same thing from you, where if you find a mistake in a text,
I have not made any claims yet, so
well,
I'm not trying.
If some of the things I point out in my seminar part 4 about lies in the textbooks, if you're concerned about accuracy in my seminars, I would point out, first of all, mine are not tax funded. Okay, nobody pays any tax dollars to do this.
We're getting totally off topic here. I'm trying to.
Well, okay, I'm putting this in the bigger picture. I'm telling you, thank you. If there's a mistake, I will correct it. I assure you. I'm seeing that now. As professional paper said, I may have the wrong reference there, and I'm looking for a geological professional paper now in my library, but I don't know. We got thousands and thousands.
Okay, but here's the fact. Here's the fact here, Hovind, and that's why I brought this up: is that baby Dima was not found until 1976.
I understand your point, and it's well taken. I understand, and if I'm wrong, I will fix it. I'm looking for the paper now to see where I got that reference.
Okay, but
is it true that baby Dima...
It's on your seminar...
I know, got the slide in front of me. Is it true that baby Dima, regardless of the reference, okay, I may have the wrong reference, but is it true that this mammoth gave 2 different dates from the same mammoth by 2 different carbon dates?
Well, no, it's not true. What did occur is that the samples from baby Dima were sent to many different laboratories, and some of those samples were preserved in a preservation fluid which had carbon in it. So some of those samples were actually wrong to begin with because they were preserved with something that would give them an inaccurate date.
Okay, so are you saying, I don't want to put words in your mouth, it is possible that a carbon date will be wrong because of contamination?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Is it possible that some of those that you have accepted as right may be wrong? Because
no, I mean, that's the whole thing here is we're actually questioning how carbon dating is working. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because within your seminar tape number 7, you keep pointing out over and over again things that you think show that carbon dating does not work. But the problem is, as I've just shown with my previous references which you have used, is that the carbon dates are known to be inaccurate for particular reasons because they are getting carbon from older sources. And
then you're missing my question. How do we know which ones are right?
Right, and you said earlier, that's a good question, Mr. Hovind. I was going to ask that same question because he has it earlier, and we really didn't get a detailed explanation. You said that we know that certain dates are wrong when we look at the source. And I think Kent has some valid skepticism here if he says, well, how do we know that that source itself has not been contaminated? I mean, how do we know? I mean, how do we know that everything we've looked at isn't contaminated? What is the litmus test that we're utilizing here?
Exactly, and there's actually a really interesting way in which this litmus test, like you say, has been tested and shown to be accurate. And we do this by actually looking at the history of carbon dating and how the dates were set up.
Okay.
One thing that occurred is when people started using this radiocarbon dating method, they were using it on things that had already known dates, such as historical artifacts coming from the Egyptian Empire. What they found was that after a certain point, the carbon dates all of a sudden became inaccurate. And they found out that the reason was because historically they'd been dating these off of the dating practice, the dating calendar that the Egyptians were using. And it happens that during a certain period within Egyptian history, the dates changed because of the Hyksos period, the period in which the northern part of Egypt was taken over by people from Assyria. And so the calendar was inaccurate. And so when they went and they discovered that, they found out that radiocarbon dates were actually correct. And the reason that we didn't think they were correct in the first place is because, again, this calendar date was off. Another way in which radiocarbon dating has been calibrated is by taking known samples from accurately dated things, such as dendrology, taking known samples from tree rings that we know date to particular ages.
Right, I was going to say, there are a lot of other methods as well, you say, that actually match up with radiocarbon dating, right? So that'd be kind of difficult to explain away if you have other methods and they kind of match up.
And that's the whole thing, is that,
How do they match up? I don't want to take his word for it that they do.
Well, you don't need to take my word for it, Kent Hovind, and nobody out there in webland needs to take my word for it either, because they can actually look up radiocarbon dating centers to see how they get these dates and to see how those dates are calibrated and to see the statistical deviation which they will give to certain dates. And there's also instances within time which...
In 1975, one part of a mammoth was 29,000 years old, another part's 44,000. Now, I just ordered today Geological Survey paper 862 from the government printing office. It costs $1.75 for the paper and $5 for shipping. But we'll get it here in a few days, because one person wrote me a nasty letter and said, Hovind, don't you realize that these two dates were from two different animals? Because I did not read the actual paper yet. I will get it here in a few days. This quote is from Institute for Creation Research's book, Henry Morse, That Their Words May Be Used Against Them. And it's from, I believe this, I forget who exactly said it. So this is a second-hand quote. I didn't read the paper myself, but I'm getting it for the skeptics out there. I will look at the paper myself, and I will stop using this if it's proven to be incorrect. Here in a few days. This quote is from Institute for Creation Research's book, Henry Morse, That Their Words May Be Used Against Them. And it's from, I believe this, I forget who exactly said it. So this is a second-hand quote. I didn't read the paper myself, but I'm
book.
But you were very specific when you said page 2. No, I said page 277. When earlier you had said page 227.
Okay.
It sounded like you really knew what you were talking about.
What page is the quote on?
The quote, well, it's not on either page.
Okay, what page is it on?
149.
Page 49.
Okay.
149.
And
149.
Okay. So wrong page. Big deal.
What is the point here? Page 149.
Is that not only is it an incorrect page, but it's a total misrepresentation of Mr. Oxnard's work. You had said that Dr. Oxnard, I'm not sure who, had said that Lucy is simply an unusual chimpanzee, and when I read about it on page 149, it said that Lucy Australopithecus afarensis was unique. So that's a total misrepresentation. It's going to say he says on one hand it's an unusual chimpanzee, but yet in the actual book it says no, it's totally unique from humans today or chimpanzees or orangutans, which he also studied.
All right, thank you. I think we get your point. We got to go. Thank you very much for the call.
Okay.
All right.
I don't think there's a point there at all. I think I was right on target. I may have had the wrong page number.
Right.
But the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're telling me that
we're getting a lot on this program where you're inaccurate in several of your quotes and several of your references.